there's a little bit of a debate here on when you give your kids some autonomy. In fact, we were just talking about this, and already some parents had just fired off this email. Maybe the conversation we had earlier inspired them. When does your kid get their way? That is their question. And we'll use this for KVJ Court here because they're looking for a verdict. It says in the email, my husband is artistic and is painting a zoo mural on our 4-year-old son's bedroom wall. When my husband got to the last color in the rainbow that he was painting, the color violet, he asked my son if he wanted to paint it himself to get him involved. The kid's 4. My son was excited, so my husband went through the effort to put tape on the boundary so my son didn't have to worry about staying inside the lines.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, kind of a cool little thing. That way the kid gets to have input on his bedroom and all that stuff. But as they were getting ready to do the last color, my son said, no, I don't want to do violet. I want the last color to be pink. Well, my husband told him, well, there's no pink in a rainbow. The color has to be violet. Like, that's not negotiable. The question was, do you want to paint the violet or not? Wasn't, do you want to have the color be pink? So that made my 4-year-old son start crying and left the room. So I overheard this. I came in. I'm like, just let him use the color pink. I mean, you're going to make him feel empowered and like he got to be a creative part of painting his room. But my husband said, I'm not seeing that. And here's why. He said that by doing that, you are building a wall of entitlement, brick by brick. He doesn't think it's right to bend reality to a kid's whims. Sorry, there's no pink in the rainbow. You saying that there is doesn't make it so. He reminded me that pink was not there, and so that wasn't even an option. He gave the kid an option to do it or not to do it, not to change the color. He also asked if we should then allow our son to believe that the sky is green just so he feels empowered. So what I'm thinking is a simple gesture is something he says is neglectful parenting, where bad micro decisions lead up to a bigger problem as your child grows. So then how do you decide when is a good time to let the kid get their way? And that's what we were talking about earlier. The difference between 80s kids and now was that a lot of it we did have to figure out our own way and we had to make things happen, but we had guidelines. And so he's just saying, look, I see kids today that whatever they say, the parent's like, oh yeah, because you said so, and it's your reality. Now the kid is controlling your own crazy reality because you're allowing things to happen. He said, sorry, pink is not in the rainbow. Just because you say it is doesn't make it so. And so he thinks that you're laying bad precedent. He said, look, it may not be a big deal right now, but you're making this micro decision. You're going to do it again later. And brick by brick, it's slowly embedding in him that he gets to change his own reality and he gets to choose based on these whims. So I guess the question is, do you give in to the kid, you let him have the pink, or are you doing the right thing as a parent by standing up and saying, no, dude, pink is not in the rainbow. The option was, do you want to paint it or not? Not that you change the color.
Or the third option, which is divorce this husband. He sounds like a psychopath.
Okay, you think he's that unhinged.
Why would you care what color your son's rainbow is on the wall? Rainbows can be any color. I'm here to tell you, you can put pink in it. You can put any color you want in it, even though traditionally it's red, orange, yellow, blue, green, purple.
Right.
You can put any color you want in the rainbow, and it doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. It's his wall in his bedroom, so I'm all about letting him be creative there. And I think what he's just saying is that this is another one of those things where we see kids, and whatever they say, and the parents bend over backwards, be like, no, you're right. That this is just a sign of that. That, look, we got to have some standards here, and you're not teaching them the right things. You put your foot down when your son wants to drive the family minivan to McDonald's. That's when you say, no, you're not doing it.
Right.
Paint color on a wall of a rainbow, the final color, who cares? Let him do pink. Your husband's wound a little too tight.
Okay. Well, that is the ultimate question here, because she thinks the same thing. She says, I think you're just making a big deal out of this. And he says, I don't think you're taking it seriously enough. And I think he's kind of calling her out because he's like, I see you do this repeatedly, and I'm afraid that you're building entitlement in him so that he is being able to call the shots and bend reality to his own whims.
You can't just come with a blanket statement like, I see you doing this repeatedly. No, give me examples and we'll go on a case-by-case basis of all these infractions that you've built up in your head that I am accumulating. Let's go.
Yeah, I would imagine they're all micro infractions, kind of this level, where the kid changes one of the colors of the rainbow because he wants pink instead of the correct color, which is violet.
But there's no correct color. Rainbows are open to interpretation by anybody.
Well, that's where I think he's now worried, because you're saying that the colors of rainbows are open to interpretation when I believe it's kind of proven what is the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And here we are now. We're saying, no, pink is in the rainbow. And you're like, you're crazy. It's not. And then now your own reality is that there are pink rainbows.
Anybody can make their own rainbow.
Okay.
You can make whatever colors you want in your rainbow. It's his wall in his bedroom.
Right. And that's part of it too, saying, yeah, but it's in my house.
Ugh, I don't know. I say divorce this dad. Cut your losses.
Okay. All right. You think he's set a little bit too tight.
Yes.
It's a 60-40 issue right now. 60% of people say that, you should let the kid paint the rainbow pink. 40% are saying, I kind of get what the dad is saying, and you're right. It's just all these little micro decisions that you're making that is kind of caving and letting the kid choose his own reality.
Pick your battles. You're going to have plenty of battles with this kid. Trust me. This is not one of them.
Okay. Well, if you were looking for a definitive answer, you don't have definitive, but you do have a 60-40 advantage.
All right. We'll take it.
Okay.
There's a lot of crazy dads out there voting, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they just see what it is. And you're right. I think a lot of people see a little bit of what the dad is saying, because you have seen the extreme examples where it's built up and people are calling insane things like being, no, that's not reality. You're making your own reality. Who allowed you to do that? And this dad saying, not in my house. I'm going to say what reality is. Here are the colors of the rainbow. We're not putting pink in there.
Clearly defined. Everything. Yeah. Like, if you're fighting about this, good luck when he becomes a teenager. This dad is going to struggle because this is nothing. This is so a two.
Or maybe he'll feel like he has a kid that doesn't try to bend because he didn't let the kid have his way and had him on a tight leash early on. So the kid's like, I'm not going to even stray down that path because my dad's laid out clear-cut boundaries for me.
Call me when he's 18 and tell me how it's going.
Okay. The more you talk, the numbers are dropping, Virginia. Your support is now down to 56%.
Yeah, I'm going to stand by it. Pick your battles, because there's going to be plenty of battles that really do matter.
Now, it's kind of interesting because all these people are fighting over it, which is absolutely crazy. But, people really took this seriously. Now, 56% of people sided with you, Virginia, and said, just let the kid paint it pink. But, 44% of people really kind of had their heels dug in. And one comment said, the 40% of us are all dads, and the 60% are the women who want to be wrong with Virginia. Okay.
That may be true.
Okay, yeah. One person said if it's supposed to be a realistic rainbow, it should be the correct colors. But then for that rebuttal, I heard if the dad is artistic, you should understand that a lot of times being artistic is being creative and, bending some of those kind of things. And you say, look, you're not changing reality just so you understand the last color is violet. But if you want to make it pink and it's your room, there's no reason why we can't. Other people are trying to justify, well, there is kind of pink in a rainbow if you look at the spectrum the right way. Other people were very upset. They said Virginia's offered terrible takes before, but this is one of her worst. The fact she's proposing a divorce probably makes it the worst. This person is so upset at you. The father is 100% right, and Virginia should never give parenting or relationship advice ever again. I call for a ban.
Whatever. I'm nailing it over here. I have a daughter named Magnolia who is a shining example of how amazing of a parent I am. So you can actually suck it all day long.
And I think even aside from the rainbow argument, which, on its surface, it is pretty silly. But Nate from Westlake said, this is kind of the ongoing tough discussion is when you come up to these decisions, how you handle them one by one. And dad thinks that it's going in the direction of the kid is writing his own reality. And that's where he finally dug his heel in. He said, look, we got a 10-year-old son, a 5-year-old son. My 5-year-old son's exceptionally stubborn and only wants things his way, regardless of how illogical or irrational his choices are. Now, sometimes we get into it and sometimes we hold fast, but The problem is once you make a decision, you got to stand by your decision, whether you agree with it as the parent or not. And so I think he would say, in that course, the dad made the decision. The mom should be able to say, I don't think that was the right decision, but I got your back, I think is what he's saying. So Nate went on to say, our philosophy as a couple and as a mother and father is that if one parent makes a decision, then the other parent should back it up. But we usually always try to talk about the decision beforehand, so we're a united front. And any kind of disagreements we have is on the front end, not on the back end.
Yes, we don't let them see us ununited. The dad went rogue.
He did. Yeah, he did.
So he needs to reel it in, and all the dads defending him, they need to reel it in too.
And we just talked about this. Why don't you just flip a coin? I see why you do it now. When you have these kind of decisions, just pull out a coin, be like, we'll leave it up to the coin. Let it decide. Then this way you resolve a fight, and you're not really letting the kid be entitled. He's just realizing, okay, you're stretching the boundaries by you getting to choose everything in reality. We'll flip a coin on it. Let fate decide.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not real. Who cares?
Well, the dad thinks it's all about the kid's character, laying that foundation.